Hi guys, today we will be making our own version of the smoking machine. Before starting the experiment, following the standard operational procedure is a must. Wearing of personal protective equipment such as lab gown, gloves, safety goggles, proper clothing, and mask will help keep you safe from any risk that might happen while the experiment is ongoing. For this experiment, we will be using household materials that are convenient to use. Here are the following materials that we are gonna need. 2 plastic bottles, small syringe, cotton balls, 1 cigarette, 2 flexible white or clear straw, tape, board or stand, glue gun and glue stick, match or lighter, and PPE. Now that our materials are complete, let's build our prototype. Here are the following steps. We will start by putting holes in our 2 small plastic bottles. Let's start with the first bottle. Put a hole in the cap big enough for the straw to fit in, then put another hole at the side of the bottle where the cigarettes will be placed. Now let's move on to the second bottle by putting 2 holes in the cap, which is also big enough for the straws to fit in. For the second step, the 2 bottles will be taped on a board about 4 to 6 inches away from each other to keep them stable as we continue to do the experiment and assemble the other parts. Place a small amount of water in the second bottle and place cotton balls in our first bottle. For the third step, get 2 straws and with the first one, cut the right measurement so that we can connect the first bottle to the second one. Then attach it using the glue gun, while the extra straw will only be attached for the second bottle with the right measurement as well. This will be used for the following steps. For the fourth step, attach the syringe using a glue gun or tape to the other straw in the second bottle, for it will serve as a suction pump during the process of the experiment. Double check the prototype and make sure everything is secured and attached properly. For the fifth step, since we are already done connecting the bottles and the syringe, we can now put the cigarette in our first bottle for us to start the experiment. This experiment demonstrates the harmful substances when smoking cigarettes and how badly it affects our lungs. Furthermore, the main purpose of this experiment is to show how a smoking machine works. Light up the cigarette by using a match, which should be done in a fume hood or outside to avoid breathing in the smoke. When the smoke starts to form, you can now proceed with the suction pump and continuously do the pumping while the cigarette is completely consumed. The pumping represents how we inhale and exhale the smoke coming from the cigarette. As we continue pumping, it will enable the smoke to be absorbed in the cotton wool and the smoke that will be formed, which will be transferred to the water. Furthermore, you will see a little bit of water bubbles every time you pump, and there will be changes in the color of the water as the experiment continues. As the smoke drowns in the cotton wool, the process of inhalation is being demonstrated while we are pulling back the syringe. When the smoke reaches and transfers to the water pushes back the smoke through the air coming from the syringe and through the cotton ball, creating an exhaling effect. Given that we are only using a syringe as a suction pump in this experiment, it takes a lot of time for the cigarette to completely be consumed. So in this part of the experiment, we will explain the process of how long a cigarette will last depending on the suction pump or how fast we can inhale and exhale the cigarette. When the cigarette is completely consumed, it means that the experiment is already done. With that being said, we will be observing what will happen from the water and cotton. As you can see, despite there's a filter being presented in the experiment, the cigarette star is still evident. The cotton wool turned yellow and the smell became very strong. This illustrates that one cigarette can do to a smoker's lungs. In addition to that, the water changes from being clear to light yellow due to the smoke that is being inhaled.
Now that we've seen what happens when a person smokes cigarette, smoking is bad for every person's health because a single cigarette contains about 4,000 chemicals, and about 7 million die in a year worldwide. Its risks contain lung cancer, mouth cancer, and strokes. It also makes a person look older since it causes wrinkles, yellow teeth, and smelly hair. I mean, who would want that, right? In addition to that, this experiment proves that even after so much filtration, the tar can't be removed. So we should be mindful and think twice before smoking cigarettes.